Welcome to a deep dive. We're here to really get into some fascinating English vocabulary today.
That's right. We're not just skimming the surface.
No, we're focusing on specific words and phrases,
Hmm.
looking at how they help us describe things, experiences, feelings, even objects with, well, more precision, more color.
Exactly. Think of it as looking under the hood at the mechanics of description in English, how we convey nuance, intensity, that sort of thing.
Right. And today we've picked out a few interesting ones. Bored to tears, boring, brilliant, cast, and clap.
They might seem simple at first glance.
Uh-huh. But they've got layers. So our mission really is to unpack those layers for you.
Okay, let's jump in and maybe start with a feeling we've all had. Boredom.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
English gives us ways to talk about this lack of interest, but also, crucially, ways to capture how intense it is.
So the starting point is probably just the word boring.
Right. Boring. It's an adjective. And fundamentally, it just means, well, not interesting, tedious, dull.
It describes something that just doesn't grab you, doesn't stimulate your mind or feelings.
Exactly. It leaves you feeling unengaged, maybe a bit weary. It's about the source of that feeling. The thing itself is boring.
Okay, the source. So, give us an example.
Well, think about a movie. You might say, the movie was so boring
Yeah.
that I actually fell asleep halfway through.
Right, so the movie's quality, maybe the plot was slow or the acting was flat, was boring, and it caused you to fall asleep.
Precisely. Or a book. This book is incredibly boring. I can't get past the first chapter.
The content itself is the problem there. It's
Right.
just not holding your attention.
Exactly. It could be dry, maybe too academic, or just not your cup of tea. And that makes reading it a chore.
You hear it a lot with things like lectures, too.
Oh, definitely. The lecture was so boring that students started checking their phones.
Uh-huh. The delivery, or maybe the topic itself, just wasn't engaging enough.
Yeah. Or someone might just say, he finds history to be a very boring subject. A general feeling about the whole topic.
Repetition often makes things boring, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Doing repetitive tasks can be very boring. It's the monotony.
Like a job, maybe. She complained that her job had become incredibly boring. Same thing every day, no challenge.
Exactly. And it's not just tasks or subjects. Situations can be boring too.
Like a party.
Yeah. Party was quite boring. No one was dancing. The lack of energy or activity.
Even the weather. The weather today is so boring, just gray and drizzly.
Right. No sunshine, no drama, just meh. It leads to descriptions like that. Or deciding not to do something. I'd rather stay home than go to another boring social event.
You're anticipating the dullness.
You are, and sometimes it's just how something is presented. His voice was so monotonous, making the story even more boring.
Even if the story itself could be interesting.
Right. A flat delivery just kills it. Or think about a museum. The exhibition was full of boring old artifacts.
Maybe they're historically important, but if they're just sitting there with no context.
The presentation becomes boring. And sometimes it's about expectations. The movie was advertised as an action film, but it was surprisingly boring.
So the contrast makes it feel even more disappointing, more dull.
Exactly. So foundationally boring is that adjective for the quality of the thing, the movie, the lecture, the weather, that lacks interest and causes that feeling in us.
Okay, got it. Describes the source.
Now, let's turn up the dial on that feeling. Let's talk intensity.
This is where it gets more expressive, right? With idioms like bored to tears.
Exactly, an idiom. And remember, the meaning isn't just the literal words added up.
You're not actually crying, usually.
Probably not, no. Though the image of tears definitely suggests a strong emotional reaction. The core meaning is just extremely intensely bored.
So bored you feel drained, exhausted by it.
Yes. Utterly weary, emotionally maybe, just from the sheer lack of anything interesting. It's hyperbole and exaggeration to show just how boring it was.
It paints a picture.
It does. It suggests the boredom is so profound, it's having a real physical or emotional effect, almost like sadness or exhaustion would.
Okay, let's look at some examples. How about the meeting was so long and uninteresting, I was bored to tears?
Perfect. See, that's not just saying the meeting was dull.
No, it's saying it was torture.
Right. It emphasizes the suffering involved, the length, the lack of engagement. It pushed the speaker to an extreme state. It tells you about the impact on the person.
Ah, okay. Not just about the meeting itself.
Precisely. Compare it to just, the meeting was boring. Bored to tears is much more personal, more intense.
Like the tourist found himself bored to tears by the repetitive historical tour.
Yes. The repetition, maybe the lack of anything truly engaging, wasn't just mildly annoying. It induced this deep, wearying boredom in him.
And you can feel this way even just thinking about something boring.
Oh, absolutely. If I have to watch another documentary about ancient pottery, I'll be bored to tears.
But just the idea is enough to make you feel exhausted by boredom.
Exactly. Or extreme repetition. If I hear that song one more time, I'll be bored to tears. Something maybe okay initially becomes unbearable.
It often seems linked to feeling trapped or having no connection to something.
That's a very common trigger. He was so bored to tears at the art exhibition that he secretly wished he was home.
He just couldn't connect with it. Felt out of place.
Right, leading to that deep disengagement. Or think about having nothing to do. There was nothing to do on the rainy afternoon and I was bored to tears.
That complete lack of options, that feeling of being stuck.
Can feel overwhelming. He said he would be bored to tears if he had to spend another weekend alone. The prospect of it feels intensely tedious.
What about things that just drag on forever? Or have too much detail?
Yes, that can definitely push you there. I was bored to tears while my friend described every single detail of her dream.
Oh gosh, yeah. Too much information.
Exactly. Exhaustive, maybe irrelevant detail, or a slow plot. The slow progression of the plot made me bored to tears with the movie. The drawn-out pace just intensifies the boredom.
Even waiting can do it. The long commercial break made her bored to tears.
Right. That feeling of just waiting, being stuck. I'm bored to tears by this endless loop of waiting.
Or routine that feels like that. I'm so bored to tears by this current routine, I need a change.
It becomes unbearable, doesn't it? Mind-numbingly dull. It makes you want to escape.
And sometimes it's just you don't understand what's going on.
Lack of mental stimulation, yeah. He felt bored to tears listening to the technical jargon. If it's incomprehensible or totally uninteresting to you, it's profoundly tedious.
And this level of boredom can actually make you do something.
It can be a powerful motivator. My brother was so bored to tears with the video game that he just quit.
Had enough.
Exactly, or bigger things. He was so bored to tears with his job that he decided to look for a new one. The extreme boredom pushed him to make a major change.
So to sum it up, boring is about the thing, the source.
Right, the quality of the source.
And bored to tears is about the person's experience, the intensity.
Yes, the intensity and the impact of that feeling on the person. It's being utterly overcome by the lack of interest, a state of being.
That makes so much sense. It's not just very boring, it's painting that picture of how awful the boredom felt, using imagery, using hyperbole.
Precisely. It's much more evocative. So for you, the listener, using bored to tears really communicates that the boredom wasn't trivial. It was profound. It was impactful.
Okay. From the depths of soul-crushing boredom, let's completely switch gears.
Please, let's talk about something, well, the opposite.
Let's talk about excellence, something outstanding. Let's talk about brilliant.
Ah, brilliant. Yes, a great word. Another adjective, but this time overwhelmingly positive.
And it's interesting how it works, isn't it? It seems to cover a few different areas, but they all feel connected by intensity.
Excellence. That's a good way to put it. Let's start with the most literal meaning, the original one.
Which is about light.
Exactly. Very bright, shining intensely. The diamonds sparkled with a brilliant light.
Dazzling. Intense.
Yes. Or the sky was filled with brilliant stars on a clear night. Exceptionally bright.
Can it be almost too bright?
It can describe that too. The sunlight reflected off the snow, creating a brilliant glare.
Right. Painfully bright, maybe.
Exactly. Or finding a gem. The newly discovered gem had a brilliant sparkle, that intense, lively light.
Okay, so literal brightness. But then we use it for people and ideas.
We do. This is the second meaning. Exceptionally clever or talented. Intellectual brightness, if you like.
So she came up with a brilliant idea for the project.
Meaning the idea wasn't just okay, it was exceptionally creative or insightful or effective, really clever.
Or describing a person. The scientist is known for her brilliant research in quantum physics.
Highlighting her exceptional intellectual ability in a tough field. Or a specific solution. Her solution to the problem was absolutely brilliant.
Like, wow, that was smart. Ingenious, maybe?
Yes. Or potential. The student showed brilliant potential in mathematics, a natural, outstanding talent. He's a truly brilliant chess player. His skill and strategy are just top level.
We can talk about a brilliant mind, right?
Absolutely. He has a brilliant mind, capable of solving complex equations quickly, focusing on that cognitive power. Or a plan. The team's strategy was brilliant and led them to victory. The plan itself was exceptionally clever.
Like a brilliant tactician in the military.
Exactly. Outstanding skill in planning and execution.
Okay, so light, then intelligence, and then there's a broader sense. Like
Yeah.
just generally fantastic.
Yes, the third meaning. Magnificent or outstanding. This is a wider application for things that are just exceptionally good or impressive.
Like a performance. He gave a truly brilliant performance in the play.
Meaning his acting was magnificent, captivating, really skillful, or a display. The concert featured a brilliant display of fireworks. Spectacular, visually impressive.
Could be colors and art. The colors in the painting are so brilliant and vibrant.
Yes, describing the intense, striking quality of the colors. Or analysis. The book offered a brilliant analysis of political trends. Exceptionally insightful, well argued.
You might just exclaim, what a brilliant piece of music.
Right, meaning it's outstanding, inspiring, or a speech. The orator delivered a brilliant speech that moved the audience. Magnificent content and delivery.
Predicting success. She has a brilliant future ahead of her in the arts.
High potential for outstanding achievement, even food. The chef prepared a brilliant meal that tasted as good as it looked. Outstanding quality all around.
So what's the thread connecting these? Bright light, smart ideas, great performances.
It seems to be that core idea of something shining, doesn't it? Standing out with intensity or excellence.
Ah, yeah. Brilliant light literally shines. A brilliant idea shines with cleverness. A brilliant performance shines with quality.
Exactly. It's a great example of how language extends meanings metaphorically, from the literal world of light into these more abstract realms.
It really is. So for you listening, using brilliant really amps up the praise, doesn't it? It's way beyond just good or clever.
Absolutely. It signals something truly exceptional, really admirable.
And you always know which meaning is intended from the context. A brilliant idea isn't glaring, a brilliant star isn't solving problems.
Precisely. Context is key. Okay, shall we move from abstract qualities like brilliance to, well, something much more concrete? A word for people and objects.
Let's do it. Our next word is cast. And as a noun, wow, it really shows how much context matters in English.
It really does. One very common meaning, especially if you're talking about films or theater, is cast, meaning the group of actors.
Right, all the performers in a play, a movie, a TV show, the ensemble.
It's fundamental vocabulary in entertainment. The cast of the new movie is full of famous stars. Tells you about the actors involved.
Or the director praised the entire cast for their hard work, acknowledging the whole group of performers.
And the group can be different sizes. The play has a small but talented cast. Few actors, but good ones.
She joined the cast of the long-running television series, became one of the regular actors.
Or linking the cast to success. The movie's success was largely due to its strong cast. The quality of the acting group was crucial.
It often highlights that group aspect, doesn't it? The entire cast came out for the curtain call.
To thunderous applause. Yes, all the performers together. Or, talking about group dynamics, he was pleased to be part of such a supportive cast.
Musicals often have big ones. The musical features a large cast of singers and dancers.
Right. Many performers. Awards might recognize this too. The film received an award for its ensemble cast, celebrating the group effort.
And it applies across different types of shows, like improv.
Yep. She's the newest member of the improv comedy cast,
Yeah.
the group doing spontaneous comedy, and the selection process. The director held auditions to find the perfect cast.
Selecting the group, you can also talk about the original cast versus a later one.
Exactly. The original cast of the Broadway show reunited, distinguishing that specific group, or evaluating their work. Despite some minor issues, the cast delivered a powerful performance. The acting group was strong.
You hear cast and crew together sometimes.
Right. The entire cast and crew celebrated, grouping actors with the production staff, or diversity. The film's diverse cast reflected its global themes, the variety within the acting group.
Even the way they work together. She was surprised by the unexpected chemistry among the cast, that interaction between the actors.
It's used in training, too. The acting workshop ended with a showcase featuring its talented cast, and its importance is often stressed. The success of a play often depends on the strength of its cast.
And it's part of the dream for actors, right? He
Yeah.
dreams of being part of a big Hollywood movie cast.
Absolutely. Or getting the news. The director announced the final cast list, the official group selection.
Okay, so that's cast, actors. But then there are the physical objects, completely different.
Totally different. Still the noun cast, but now meaning a solid object. And there are two main ways this comes up in the material.
The first is making something in a mold.
Exactly. Pouring a liquid material like metal, plaster, resin into a mold, letting it harden, and getting a solid shape.
You see this in art a lot. The sculptor made a bronze cast of his hand.
Right. Molten bronze poured into a hand-shaped mold. Or museum replicas. The museum displayed several ancient casts of Roman statues, reproductions made from molds.
Forensics uses it too.
Yes, to preserve evidence. The forensic team made a plaster cast of the footprints, pouring plaster into the impressions.
And archaeology, paleontology.
Definitely. They found a rare iron cast in the archaeological dig, an artifact made by casting iron, or even natural ones. The fossil was a natural cast of an ancient shell. Minerals filled the space and hardened over time.
An artist might make several. The artist created a series of plaster casts for her new exhibit, multiple objects from mold.
Or prototypes. He used a resin cast to create a prototype of his invention, a model made through casting.
Can be big things too. They discovered a full-body cast of a dinosaur skeleton.
Wow, yeah, or natural impressions. The wet ground provided a perfect natural cast of the animal's paw print. The ground acted as the mold.
Even dentistry. The dental laboratory makes custom casts of teeth.
Making models from molds for dental work, or traditional crafts. The cast of the bell was done in the traditional manner, pouring molten metal into a bell mold, or fossils. They studied the rock casts of ancient plants, plant impressions in rock.
Okay, so that's the mold type of cast. What's the other object?
The medical one, a cast for a broken bone.
Ah, right. The hard shell they put on your arm or leg.
Exactly, a rigid protective covering, usually plaster or fiberglass, to keep the broken bone still so it can heal. After she broke her arm, the doctor put it in a plaster cast.
He had to wear a leg cast for 6 weeks, immobilized for healing.
Materials vary. The broken bone was held firmly in a fiberglass cast, often lighter than plaster now.
Doctors monitor them. The doctor checked the tightness of the cast regularly, important for support and circulation.
And technology improves. The new lightweight cast allowed for more movement, less cumbersome.
But they can be annoying to wear. Her arm was itchy under the cast.
Oh, the worst feeling, or getting it off. The technician carefully removed the old cast from her leg, once healing is done. And following instructions, the doctor advised him to keep his arm elevated while in the cast.
So actors, things from molds and broken bone covers, all called cast.
It's amazing, isn't it, how one word covers such different tangible things. Apparently, the mold sense comes from an Old Norse word for throw or shape.
Oh.
And selecting actors, casting a play, might relate metaphorically to casting lots or selecting. The medical one also relates to shaping or casting that covering. The meanings drifted apart, but the word remained.
Fascinating. That history makes it to make a bit more sense. But for you listening, it really shows you've got to rely on context, right? Movie, museum, or hospital that tells you which cast we mean.
Absolutely. Knowing the options prevents confusion. Okay, last one for today. A word that's both an action and the sound it makes.
Our final deep dive is into clap, verb and noun, describing that sharp sound when things hit together.
Let's start with the verb, the action.
Most common is hitting your hands together, right? Palms striking each other,
Yeah.
usually for applause.
Yes, applause is the main one, showing approval or appreciation. The audience began to clap enthusiastically after the song ended, showing enjoyment with energy.
Or encouraging someone. She told the children to clap for their friend's excellent drawing, acknowledging good work.
Showing respect, too. The coach told the team to clap for their opponents after the game. Sportsmanship or appreciation. We all clap for the brave firefighters.
You can also clap to get attention.
Sure. He quickly learned to clap his hands to get the dog's attention, a sharp sound signal. Or in a noisy place, he had to clap loudly to get the attention of the busy waiter.
Some people clap when they talk, for emphasis.
They do. He would often clap his hands to emphasize a point, making a statement more impactful.
It can be a signal, too. The teacher asked the students to clap once for yes, twice for no. A simple response system.
Or a cue. The performers waited for the audience to clap before beginning their next act. Applause as the trigger.
And clapping along to music, keeping rhythm.
Definitely. We had to clap along with the music during the show, or kids' rhymes. The children loved to clap their hands during the nursery rhymes. Physical engagement.
It can express different feelings, too. He hoped the crowd would clap for his efforts, seeking acknowledgement.
Or joy. She would often clap her hands in delight when she heard good news, a physical expression of happiness.
And you can describe how someone claps. She would clap her hands together, a sudden, sharp sound.
Or collectively, the audience began to clap in unison, all together.
But the verb isn't only for hands, is it?
No, it can mean striking other things sharply. He tried to clap the dust off his jacket, hitting it with an open hand.
Or animals. The trainer told the seals to clap their flippers, hitting those appendages together.
And we use the verb for sharp sounds in nature, or from objects hitting each other.
Like thunder. The thunder began to clap loudly in the distance.
Yes, likening that sharp sound to a clap. Or waves. The sound of the waves began to clap against the shore, striking the land sharply.
A banner in the wind. The sudden gust of wind made the banner clap against the pole.
Exactly, that sharp impact sound. So the verb covers the intentional hand action and similar sharp, sudden striking sounds.
Okay, now the noun. Clap as the sound itself.
Right. Primarily the sound made by hitting palms together.
But also, like the verb, any similar sudden, sharp noise.
Exactly. It's the audible result. A single clap echoed through the silent hall. The sound of one clap. She gave a polite clap after the speech. The sound and the manner.
Animal sounds. The trainer rewarded the seal with a fish after every successful clap of its flippers, responding to that specific sound.
The sound can have different qualities. The performance ended with a final, resounding clap. Loud, impactful applause sound. He gave a round of appreciative claps for the musicians, a series of positive sounds.
A sound of joy. The child gave a happy clap when he saw the ice cream.
Or excitement. A burst of enthusiastic claps followed his announcement, a sudden flurry of sound.
Sounds as signals. She taught her dog to respond to a soft clap, reacting to a gentle sound. The referee's whistle was followed by a distinct clap from the crowd. The sound happened right after.
And you can describe the pattern of the sound. He received a few desultory claps for his uninspired presentation. Weak, scattered applause sound.
Or rhythmic sounds. The rhythmic clap of the train wheels was soothing. That steady, repeated sound.
Collective sounds. The audience gave a final collective clap before dispersing, the whole group together, or a signal. He gave a loud clap to signal the start of the game. A single sharp sound as a cue.
And just like the verb, the noun applies to other sharp noises. We heard a distant clap of thunder.
Right, referring to the sound itself. The sudden clap of the shutter surprised the bird. Sharp camera noise.
We heard the sharp clap of the breaking branch. Loud, snapping sound.
The sound of a single clap of lightning startled everyone, the sharp sound with the flash.
Wind sounds. The sudden clap of the sail in the wind made us jump. Fabric hitting the mast.
Or doors. The unexpected clap of the door closing made her jump. Sudden, forcible shutting sound.
So understanding both the verb and the noun and all these contexts, hands, nature, objects, really helps describe actions and sounds more accurately. It's a specific kind of sharp striking sound.
It really is. And seeing how the action relates to the sound and how similar sounds get the same name, it's quite neat.
So that brings us to the end of our deep dive for today. We looked at bored to tears, boring, brilliant, cast, and clap.
Yeah, quite a range. From deep boredom to shining excellence. From groups of actors to broken bones and the sound of hands coming together. We've seen how English gives us tools for nuance.
Hopefully, exploring these has given you some fresh insights into how these words function and how you can use them to be clearer, maybe more expressive, in your own communication.
Keep an ear out for them. Notice how people use them, why they chose that word in that specific moment. What extra meaning does it add?
And a final thought, riffing off clap. Isn't it interesting how a simple sound, a sharp clap, can be completely involuntary, like jumping at thunder, but also a really deliberate form of communication? Think about applause that's packed with social meaning. Or using claps for yes-no. Same sound, totally different message depending on the context. Something to ponder.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.